Rocky Mountain National Park is one of the biggest wildland-urban interface national parks in the country. What exists at Rocky Mountain National Park was not Rocky Mountain National Park prior to 1915. It's really hard when a fire is happening and it's impacting people's lives and livelihood to really talk about the benefits of fire. Some areas that will have a lot longer time growing back and will never look the same. You have to look at hundreds and hundreds of years versus 10 years. And sometimes that's hard for humans to wrap our brains around that. You start to see some vegetation grow that maybe you haven't seen for decades. And we had some amazing, like what they call super blooms in the summer of 21 and 22. And that always amazes me. You think of this seed structure that was there, and some of those plants only grow after a fire moves through. And you're like, how is that even possible?
So once Cameron Peak kind of looked like it was no longer going to be a direct threat to our community, was right when East Troublesome hopped the divide.
On October 21st, made an 18-mile run, which is pretty unheard of.
It burned all the way over the Continental Divide. I mean, you can't control a fire like that. They're completely out of control. You just have to run away. There's three most important things about climate change. They all start with the letter S. Simple, serious, and solvable. So simple is how does it work, serious is why is it bad, solvable is what are we going to do about it. Here's the simple thing. When you add heat to things, they warm up. There's sun coming in, there's infrared being radiated out, and the CO2 that we put in the air gets in the way of the outgoing heat, so the heat accumulates in the air system and it warms up. Number two is, oh my gosh, it's really serious. As it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, there are more and more consequences about people being harmed. It's about the economy being harmed. It's about people losing their jobs, losing their livelihoods, losing their homes. It's about whether you want to have a prosperous future or not. The solvable thing is it will stop warming up when we stop setting carbon on fire and putting CO2 up in the air. We're not just gonna turn off the lights. We have to power our modern lifestyle with other sources of energy.
We've already warmed or heated up the planet about 1 degree. 1 degree in 100 years is huge. And we're actually warming even more here in Colorado.
Every 3,000 feet in Colorado is about 10 degrees Fahrenheit colder on the average. It has warmed up about 2 or 3 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's like half of the distance from Fort Collins to Estes, which is a lot. The trees are no longer in the zone of the mountain that they're adapted for because the zones are moving up the mountain. And this is why we're having much more intense fires, much more frequent fires. Students need to understand that it's simply not true that nothing is being done. We're not helpless. We have the power to make the world better.
All the research has shown that fires have gone more intense, they've grown larger, they burn harder and faster, and that has a lot to do with not only climate change, but also suppressing fires for the last 100 years.
Should we invest in suppression and response or mitigation? And what we say is it's not an or proposition.
Our lands, we used to have a more healthy relationship with fire and working with fire to help us manage land.
The Hayman fire from 2002, that was the first fire in Colorado that went over 100,000 acres. We never thought we would see anything like that until 2020. Wildfire is a natural resource problem, it always will be. But unfortunately now it's getting to be a public safety problem. When we lose civilian lives in fires, that's relatively new in Colorado. When we're evacuating entire towns like Estes Park or Granby in the middle of the night, that's new.
Mitigation on any property that you own specifically, right? The whole idea is to protect life safety and property.
To take quick action, detect them early, keep them small, limit the cost, limit the damage. When people think about wildfire mitigation, it's the forest management or the vegetation treatments.
Working with fire, but then also why it's so important that people outside of the park also practice good, fire-wise, fire prevention, fire mitigation on their properties as well.
Never fight our way out of this situation we're in. Wildfires are a natural part of the ecosystem. They're going to happen. It's just a matter of when and where.
I think community awareness obviously is huge. We're all in this together. That's a big mindset that I like to have.